Please raise a toast to our challengers, the big-time Buccaneers!
I'm Disguised Toast.
I'm Ali Straza.
And I'm Ann. And we are
The big-time Buccaneers. Yarr!
Working as a team definitely gives you an advantage as opposed to just being one person. I mean, I think 3 heads are better than 1.
I think we have a really good balance. Ant's a great player, Ali's a great player, I'm, the best player. So
yeah, we're definitely gonna swashbuckle our way to the championship. Can we get some more pirate puns somehow?
I think we're gonna stomp the competition, if I do say so myself.
I mean, it's not gonna be close.
It's not, not even gonna be close.
We're gonna make them walk the plank.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're pirates.
I love you, dude.
The big-time Buccaneers!
The Big Time Buccaneers featuring Disguised Toast, Ant and Ali Straza.
As we were saying in the opening, Ant, one of the most accomplished players in Hearthstone this year, going to the World Championship. Toast, as we learned, a rap god himself, and Ali Straza, a Southern California local, so maybe she'll be a little bit better adapted.
Let's toss it over to Raven for a couple of words with the Big Time Buccaneers.
Thanks a lot, Frodan. I'm joined by our first team on the stage for a few words. So first of all, Ant, we saw you at Championship stage. Now you're on the BlizzCon stage. How does it feel to be America's newest Hearthstone superstar at this point?
It's all gone to my head, honestly. I'm just super famous. I don't want to talk to anybody. Don't ask me for photos.
Wow.
I'm not serious. No, please do all of that.
Well, you're talking to me, and at the moment, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
And on the other side of that, Ali, we've not seen too much of you on a stage like this. You were at TwitchCon, of course, but are the nerves kicking in now that you're here?
I'm not gonna lie, a little nervous, but more excited than anything, I would say.
That's fair enough. And Toast, just a quick one. Have you got these raps set up for every team you're going to face today? I hope so.
Every single person, every single team.
Okay, I hope there's not one for me. But so it'll be great to see those a little bit later on. So we've welcomed our first team to the stage. Let's welcome our second team for round 1.
Please raise a toast to our next challengers, the Jungle Giants.
I am Firebat.
Firebat is the 2014 Hearthstone World Champion!
I'm Jackie. Paladin Doomsayer's pretty damn fine, even though it's a card that's on the sideline.
And I'm Crip.
I feel like they're past their best, and I'm gonna have to carry both of these two.
We are the Jungle Giants.
Definitely want to win. This is the first time I've been to BlizzCon, first time I've been to America.
We're the team to beat because we are the best.
We're going to win this whole damn thing because we have marginal advantages in the deck lineups.
We compound the marginal advantages across the entire tournament, so the marginal becomes less marginal, and then it's like kind of okay.
We're the team to beat because we've got the best standard player in the world, the best arena player in the world, and me.
The Jungle Giants.
Welcome to the stage, the Jungle Giants featuring Criparian, Firebat, and Jackie.
And both Crip and Firebat have played on the BlizzCon stage before, Firebat taking home the title in 2014.
Send it over to Raven for a couple words with the Jungle Giants.
Thanks again, Dan. Welcome to the stage, guys. First of all, Firebat, you're known as a bit of a tryhard when it comes to Hearthstone, 2014 World Champion, of course. This is a bit more of a light-hearted event, but how much have you been putting into this? Has there been spreadsheets?
There's been one spreadsheet with a different page for every single team. I tried to predict everything that they would play based on the classes that were presented. So I'm hoping I memorized all of the cards in all of their decks. So trying pretty hard.
Okay, no surprise there. Feeling confident. And Jackie, this is a team event, and you were well known for bringing things a little bit outside the box. Did these two guys try and rein you in a little bit for this one?
A little bit, but you'll have to wait and see.
Not much.
Might have some memes prepared.
Okay, we'll see. I look forward to it. And Crip, we heard from Toast a little bit earlier on with some interesting lyrics. Are you going to have anything prepared by the end of the day?
No, I accept it. It was a good job. I think it was a fair slam, and I hope the results make him feel bad at the end of the day.
Fair enough, just beat him in the game. So let's get the first match underway. So shake hands, guys. Good luck in the match, and we'll get the first match of the Hearthstone Invitational underway.
They'll bring honor and fame back to their inn. The big-time Buccaneers versus the Jungle Giants. Let's see what you got!
Greetings from the commentator desk, and welcome to the kickoff match of the Hearthstone Invitational live from BlizzCon 2017. My name is Frode, and I'm joined by Brian Kibler, and we have the Jungle Giants versus the big-time Buccaneers, and a lot of nice, cordial banter back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah, I love the tone that this event has already set so far. You know, you have a little bit of friendly trash talk coming back and forth, and I have to say that I really did love Toast's little rap diss of Crypt there. And I'm hoping to see more of that.
Yeah, he didn't do that in rehearsals at all.
No,
he just whipped it out live on camera. And I gotta say, man, if he's got the gall to be able to do something like that, I'm waiting to see what they have in the store for us today as we take a look at how the format is for this first match. Remember, all throughout the Invitational, we'll have 3 separate rounds of matches where they dip into Wild, Standard, and a new format called Excavate Treasure, with the first match, of course, being in Wild.
Yeah, this match will be Wild. If you're not familiar with the formats in Hearthstone, Wild is a format in which you can use all of the cards throughout Hearthstone's history. So these decks can include everything back to Naxxramas. So we'll see, I have to imagine, some mad scientists, sludge belchers, things of that nature that haven't really seen competitive play in a while.
That's right, and the classes have been separated as such. They had to pick a strata of 3 classes. For example, Rogue, Mage, and Hunter were in one strata, and from that you split up the classes to what you want, but you have freedom. You can freedom to build however you want. You can say, for example, I want this Mage as Toast did for Wild, and Toast has been playing a lot of Mage on his own personal stream, and does this really surprise us that he's choosing a deck of this kind?
Not at all. Toast has been well known for playing Quest Mage, the essentially infinite damage combo deck in Standard. The deck that he has built for Wild is very similar. Rather than using the quest itself, he plans to use Emperor Thaurissan to reduce the cost of the various combo pieces to allow him to play Antonidas plus Apprentices and just throw infinite fireballs at his opponent's face.
That's right. So not Quest Mage, but still very similar of OCK Mage, or one-turn kill, as we like to say within our terminology. Now let's go ahead and look at the other team captain here, or at least the most prominent featured member, and that's Kripparrian, the Hearthstone superstar. He's doing a mix-up of a good old classic Pirate Warrior that we've seen in Wild.
Yeah, Pirate Warrior has been a force to be reckoned with in Wild. A big part of that is the card in the middle there on the top, Ship's Cannon. Ship's Cannon, in particular, in combination with Patches, can allow you to deal a ton of damage really quickly as you play Pirates. Also has a lot of burst damage potential with Death Spite Leroy, we see at the bottom of the screen, as well as the big finisher in Fel Reaver.
Yeah, Fel Reaver, definitely one of the original 5-mana 8/8s that put a lot of pressure, not like the Pure Tide Hydra. Let's get game number 1 underway here, and Jungle Giants is going to be on the coin here, and of course they draw a little bit of an awkward opening hand, and we'll see how the impact of the Fire War Axe nerf will go ahead and shift the Pirate Warriors playing Wild.
Yeah, well, he even has King's Defender. You know,
yeah.
the strictly better Fire War Axe that was from TGT, I believe. And you can hear the players talking a little bit. We'll be able to listen to see what they're talking about their mulligan stage right now.
Yeah. Let's see how much they
Psych
can.
him out.
Ooh, that's a full mulligan.
Okay.
All right, well.
I got a lot of 2-drops.
That's cool.
We can get a 2-drop.
Oh, top decks. Top decks. We got this.
We have 22 damage.
No one leaves.
Anything.
No one.
I feel like we should try this. There's only one.
Draw Patches. I would really love for you to draw Patches.
I'd really love
He's
to catch
thinking.
this in your hand.
Well, it seems like everything already has begun with the strategy talks on both sides, and this is something that Pirate Warrior has to evaluate very carefully. They have a little bit of an awkward draw, and you don't always have to just play Pirates just because you can, even though Jungle Giants does have a line where they can play the South Sea deckhand and the South Sea captain. So do you think they should go on board, Kibler, or hold back?
I would expect them to hold back. I know Firebat in particular has played a lot of Pirate Warrior, and especially against a deck like they expect Toast to be playing in this combo Mage, you often are better off getting your burst damage in at points that make it awkward for your opponent. No, it looks like he's actually going to go with Deckhand right away, gets his Patches right out there. This does have the effect of, even if Big Time Buccaneers chooses to ping on their turn, there's still a Pirate left in play to coin out the South Sea captain as well, however.
Yeah, I think when they recognize that Mage comes out here, and a lot of Mages in Wild format tend to be very control-oriented. There are a couple of tempo aggro versions of it, but control is very strong, especially because Reno Jackson's still available and a few other things. And it is a closed deckless format, so when you see your opponent pass on turn 1, you try to see if you can pressure your opponent's life total and don't give him the time to draw the cards he needs to kill you.
While it is closed deckless, these players, have been kind of trying to figure out what their opponents are playing. And when Toast found out that his opponent Crip was playing Warrior, he was kind of expecting Pirate Warrior in Wild. Last night, actually, I heard him talking. He's like, I don't know if I can ever beat Pirate Warrior with my deck. And Ali and Ant were like, no, you have one Sludge Belcher. Just draw your Sludge Belcher. It'll be okay.
And keep in mind that we will be playing through the entire series as well. So even if something goes disastrously wrong, you always have another chance to pick up the series later on.
Yeah, the team that does get the most overall game wins gets a bonus treasure, as well as the total number of game wins ends up being a tiebreaker, just in case the teams are tied in terms of total treasures accumulated.
Basically win as much as you can. And Big Time Buccaneers is going to have trouble with that if they're giving their opponents cards. Jungle Giants did not have a 3-mana play, and because Big Time Buccaneers went for a Cold Light Oracle to draw deeper into their deck and get some answers, they've also given Jungle Giants some more threats.
Yeah, it's a lot of resources for the Pirate Warrior, and the Pirate Warrior is a deck that can utilize those resources very effectively. Pretty much any card you give them can turn pretty much directly to burn.
Look at Jungle Giants' hand. They have all 4 weapon types that they would like to have in their deck. They have the Zos First Mage, which gets you the Rusty Hook. They have effectively Fire War Axe, now reimagined as King's Defender. And they have Test Bite and Arcanite Reaper. That is way too much weapons. And even Leroy Jenkins is just like burst damage. So at this point, they can just all go face and pressure the life total of Mage and not give them time. And I think Cold Light Oracle is already tipped off the Jungle Giants of what kind of deck this Mage is.
Yeah, and not to forget that Toast is very well known for playing these combo-oriented decks anyway.
True.
And Pirate Warrior is exactly the kind of deck you'd love to get queued against, or rather queue into a combo-style Mage deck, simply because you're able to put out so much damage so fast and not give them time to assemble their combo pieces. Looking at the Big Time Buccaneers hand, they have 2 Molten Reflections, but they don't have any copies of Sorcerer's Apprentice. They don't have their Emperor Tharson. They're very far away from being able to do their combo.
This could be a really tough turn, and I want to start listening into the Big Time Buccaneers to see what they're talking about on this very crucial 4-mana turn.
Like Nova into Blizzard?
I think that's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
Okay.
I think we just need to not take the damage, right?
Yeah, we just need to not die.
So kill the Saucy, yeah.
And by some miracle, he doesn't kill this. We have so many. We got two mad scientists, 1 archaeologist.
It'd be clutch if we could pick up a girl, actually.
You think so?
Oh, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah.
So we can go Sorcerer, couple Molten, Frost Nova.
Yeah, so when Ali Strauss said pick up a girl to Toast, I think that it might be misinterpreted by some people who aren't familiar with our lingo.
Sorcerer's Apprentice is known as girl to many people.
Yes. Even Ant had to clarify, wait, we're talking about Hearthstone still, right?
We're not talking about just going and fighting Toast to date.
Wow. Well, interestingly enough, Big Time Buccaneer took a gamble with Doomsayer, hoped that Jungle Giants wouldn't have damage. But Jungle Giants has recognized a very interesting opportunity to ignore the board anyways and just kill their opponents. And it's primarily based off the fact that they have 10 damage next turn with Leroy Jenkins. And also because their hand's mainly weapons. They don't really need as much minion pressure.
Yeah, and without a secret on the side of Big Time Buccaneers, they know that this Leroy Jenkins just represents lethal damage. So Big Time Buccaneers is going to dig.
No, the 2 secrets are just a little bit off. And Jungle Giants has the direct damage to just kill Big Time Buccaneers right now.
You see them go a little bit of a wave there, both Crip and Firebat with the IRL BM, but there it is. 10 imps finish it off, and game number 1 goes to the Jungle Giants.
Well, Dr. Kriparian and the Jungle Giants, and they are on the board against the Big Time Buccaneers. A little ironic that a pirate deck took down the Big Time Buccaneers. There's a little pirate on pirate action there, but of course it's just more mainly for nomenclature. No real actual meaning to the names other than team.
Well, and for puns and memes.
And for puns.
That's the key, really.
Well, I mean, realistically, it's Quest Druid against Pirates, so you actually expect it to go the other way. But it's just game number 1, and we'll see what ends up happening for the other games. So when we return, more action here at the Hearthstone Invitational. It'll be Firebat versus Ant.
Stray too far away from the fire, my friends. there's more tales to tell. It's Hearthstone at BlizzCon!
The 2017 Hearthstone Invitational is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hearthstone Invitational 2017, live from Anaheim, California at BlizzCon. If you were just tuning in, we have a 1-0 lead for the Jungle Giants over the big-time Buccaneers, but we're just getting started, as we have a lot more Hearthstone to play. We have actually 6 matches, because it'll be a round-robin format. So if you're a fan of maybe Dog and his team or Raynad and their squad, they're also going to be coming up after this match and playing everything therefore. So Jungle Giants currently up 1-0, and they're currently discussing strategy. And we see that they have a lot of knowledge about Hearthstone, but we also had a chance to sit down with TJ and test their knowledge about each other.
The rope!
Joined here by the Jungle Giants, and we thought, you know, since this is a team format, we might as well go ahead and see how well you guys know each other and know your teammates. So we'll get started with the game. This first question is for Firebat. How many Twitch followers does Crip have? A, 1,079,182. B, 1,523,104.
Which one's the biggest? A?
B is the biggest.
All right, B.
B? Crip?
Do you know the answer to this?
Yeah, it's A.
The correct answer is A. All right, this next question is actually for Jackie Chan. Where does Firebat store his fortune cookies?
Wow. Do I get an ABC?
No.
No ABC?
No. Try and think of something that you would never expect fortune cookies to be in.
Toilet?
No, it's a Tide container.
What is that?
They don't have Tide in the UK, I guess. This one's for you, Crip. What is Jackie Chan's real name?
Jack.
1 point. Going back to Jackie Chan. In what year did Crip post the first video on his Criparian YouTube channel?
I want to say 2012.
I think it's 2009.
Bingo. Wow, Crip, you know yourself so well. All right, this is another question for Crip. Who did Firebat defeat to win the World Championship in 2014?
I know who it is, but I don't remember his name. He's on Team Celestial.
You got half of his name. I'll give you a hint. Someone who tiddles.
Oh, Tiddler.
There you go. Tiddler Celestial, that's right. Next question is for Firebat. Who did you defeat in the 2014 World? No, I'm just kidding. This is a question for Firebat, though. Finish this line from Jackie Chan's Knights of the Frozen Throne reveal rap. Meat wagon. It's a bit of a meme. You'll have to make a deck with a... That's when you finish the rap.
Yeah. So, can I have a go? I haven't even seen the video.
Meat wagon. It's a bit of a meme. You'll have to make a deck with a...
Dream?
That's incorrect.
But it rhymes, though.
Meat wagon. It's a bit of a meme. You'll have to make a deck with a bit of a theme.
And I have one more question for all of you. Who's the best Hearthstone caster?
Oh,
bonus points for the correct answer.
TJ Sanders.
Wait, what? Who was the answer to that question?
I don't even know.
Was there any correct answer to that question?
I'm not sure. According to Reddit, it's Firebat. He's on the team, so that I think is probably the correct answer.
Brian Kibler. Or maybe you and Firebat make a fusion dance and somehow become one person. Speaking of Firebat, he is coming up next here, and a wild deck that has been very powerful has been the Aggro Shaman. And this shouldn't really come as a big surprise to many people, but couple of the interesting cards that people always look at are things like Hammer of Twilight, a card we don't really see at all, despite the fact that it still actually is available in Standard.
Yeah, and this is a deck that has a lot of very powerful cards that just recently rotated out. The opening of Tunnel Trog into Totem Golem with the sound effect haunted players for a very long time.
That's right, and his opponent Ants will be coming up on deck here, and we'll see what Ant likes to do. He's known as a more aggressive player in general, one of the few unabashed bona fide aggro lovers. However, he's playing a mid-range recruit paladin, something that you actually have extensive experience with.
Yeah, this is a deck that I like a great deal. It's able to utilize a lot of the token summoning things, the silver hand summoning cards like Lost in the Jungle, Must for a Battle, even going so far as to play 2 copies of Stand Against Darkness. And basically, if you ever get a chance to stick a board of recruits, you have Lightforged Stegodon and Quartermaster to make them immediately into huge threats which can end the game.
All right, game number 2 is about to begin, and we'll see if either of these teams can continue to either build on their momentum or will big-time Buccaneers equalize. And with the mid-range Paladin, it's very important for them to make sure that they are able to secure the board against Shaman, because if they don't have as much comeback mechanisms as a normal Paladin deck with all those board clears available to them.
Yeah, there are no copies of Consecration, for instance, in the deck for big-time Buccaneers here. So they rely primarily on just fighting for the board with their own minions. There is the copy of Knife Juggler we see in their hand here. So it'd be interesting to see what they're talking about in terms of how they want to play this out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of validity to even things like the Rallying Blade. You are primarily a proactive deck, but you're also playing against a deck that can climb and run away with the board with a Tunnel Trog, for example, or maybe even the Totem Golem with a single 1/1. You can challenge and then utilize that overload. So big-time Buccaneers keeps the Rallying Blade. I like that a lot, and they are rewarded with a couple of other really powerful cards. Stewart Darkshire, another unsung MVP of the deck.
Oh, the immediate thank you from Jungle Giants, as their hand is exactly that we talked about people having nightmares about. The Tunnel Trug into
Yeah, this has terrorized the 2016 meta all too well. People remember exactly what this was capable of. But big-time Buccaneers does have some ways to strike back. However, Jungle Giants also has even better follow-up. They have Bloodsail Corsair to knock out the second charge of Rallying Blade. They have Jade Claws to help secure the board and also push a little tempo. This is a very explosive hand from Jungle Giants.
They're deciding exactly how they want to maneuver this turn here. Let's listen in to see what Firebat's talking about.
3 with Divine Shield granted. We have an answer if we do Jade Claws, because we got Tunnel Trog. So I think we should do Jade Claws and not give them anything to work with.
I quite like the Totem Golem.
I kind of like the Totem Golem too. Wait, why are you on Jade Claws?
Because it doesn't get punished by anything.
It gets punished by their pirate.
Oh, I see.
If they run, who knows which pirate they run. They may run Deckhand, since the deck often has a weapon up, but they could also play Bloodsail. I think the pirate, the clause is better as long as they don't have the pirate. But you said this is a card that they didn't keep, and they still have cards that they kept.
2 cards.
Yeah, so I'm going to respect that.
Just rope and then talking to him.
It's fine.
It's alright, overloaded, but Jade Claws, of course.
You said that's really good.
Yeah,
So they either like our play, which I doubt, or they drew a really good card.
Okay, Muster. Muster is like the only really good card.
Like if we hit the 2/2 and go face, and he rolls healing, you can re-heal it up to a 3/4.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I like that.
So if you're going to go Rallying Blade, you can consider hitting the 3/4 and trade off your 1/1, right?
I don't hate hitting this, the golem, just because this, I mean, I don't know if we're going to juggler soon or something. Like.
Yeah, I mean, the next turn's probably juggler, honestly.
Right?
Yeah.
It might be a little bit easier to deal with the Trog.
Okay, so we just get the totem golem then, right?
I think so. I mean, are you guys confident in that decision?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Part of me is like, oh, should we respect the Trog? But I feel like...
Yeah.
Like,
all right, so we're
Comms
tapping
really
into
bad.
the comms for both teams, and it seems like things, you know, even though they're having a lot of fun, it's become really serious and analytical. And I think Big Time Buccaneers recognize if they lose this game, they lost the series and they get to play another game, but you don't want to start off BlizzCon Invitational with a loss.
Yeah, you're having a lot of fun here playing in front of this crowd, but they want to win. Even if they're coming at it from a meme perspective before they got on stage, they definitely want to come at it as competitors once they're here.
This juggler has to be...
Well, at this point, Big Time Buccaneers has the Rallying Blade shut down, so that's a really big swing for Jungle Giants. Big Time Buccaneers needs this Knife Juggler to come up big.
Yep, we hear them saying, I think we go Juggler, and let's see where the knives fly. Juggler into Lost in the Jungle.
Come on. Best case scenario could hit the patches.
That is about as bad as it can get. Oh, and Flame Tongue Totem picked up for Jungle Giants allows them to make use of even their damaged minions to take out all of Big Time Buccaneers' board along with the J-Claws.
Well, what's interesting is that Jungle Giants, because none of the juggles hit face, it actually makes a lot of the trades really poor. You couldn't overtrade on the Pirate, for example. And I was looking at J-Claws originally for this turn. And I wonder if maybe instead they think about something else, but it looks like it's too clean of a mana usage otherwise.
Well, it actually doesn't even need the Flame Tongue because the J-Claws and the 2/1/1 minions trade with the recruits. The J-Claws itself can take out the Knife Juggler here, and this can even potentially get a healing totem, which can, there we go, heal up the Tunnel Trog and make it even tougher to kill if they do have muster for battle to get that weapon.
Well, Big Time Buccaneers need some help. They're looking at a pretty bad situation that's going to get out of control in the next couple turns. That is one of the worst draws that you can look at. Divine Favor is not something that's going to be useful in aggressive mirrors, so to speak. If both decks are playing very fast onto the board, it rarely gets a lot of value.
Yeah, and I think that both of Big Time Buccaneers decks so far have been ones that are aiming to beat controlling or other mid-range style decks. And Jungle Giants, so far, they've just played aggro, which has really put Big Time Buccaneers' slower decks into a tough situation.
All right, let's go ahead and tune into the teams again, see who's going to close out this game.
The 3/2 to make it a 3/3 technically is a bit helpful.
I like Hero Power Flame Tongue.
Doesn't
I like
matter
you
who
trade
you
the
are.
1/1 Tongue. They don't have a weapon.
We just play Aya next turn.
Yeah, we don't want to overload ourselves.
They don't have Pirate. They would have played that there 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't need to like force a swing
This
or
is
anything.
really over.
Yeah, we win.
Would you consider just going face here? If we draw another weapon, we can end the game with Lava Burst a lot easier.
We have 3 weapons.
I don't think so.
No, I think we still win the
Because 2 of
value.
the weapons are 5 mana, right?
We don't start going face until they can start comboing something.
Okay.
Like, we have plenty of time to get double charge-in swings. The way we lose is they equality clear our board.
I think we just like stand against darkness.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Go equality, Knife Juggler, unleash the dudes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we're dead.
Yeah,
Jackie's laughing, we're dead.
I like that they're reacting to Jackie's laughter across the board. They're like, oh, Jackie's laughing. We must just be dead. And they are. Jungle Giants close out the game to take 2-0 lead, which will win them the series, but there's still another game to play.
Yeah, very commanding performance there from Jungle Giants, but you got to admit that the draw kind of fell into their favor there as well. They got the ideal start that you want as the aggressive shaman. That's kind of what the thing about Wild is. You have a lot of high power level, and some decks feel unstoppable if they get the nut draw.
Yeah, and in particular, the Paladin deck does struggle to come back from the situation because it does so heavily rely on being on board. If their opponent can get on the board faster, it can really be tough for them.
All right, well, currently the score is 2-0. Now, normally in a lot of Hearthstone sets, the series would be over. The person that the team that won the best of 3 would move on. But we're actually going to play the third game because the tiebreakers matter if we do end up getting to that point, Kibler.
Yeah, the team that wins the most games gets an extra treasure, and those treasures are how we keep score in this event.
All right, well, before we go into game number 3, let's take a moment to learn a little bit more about the members of the Big Time Buccaneers.
Well met.
My name is Disguised Toast. I'm 26 years old.
Ali Straza. I'm 23 years old.
And I'm 25 years old.
And I'm from Florida.
Toronto, Canada.
Fresno, California.
My favorite card is Alex Straza. She is basically a badass.
My battle tag comes from my weird obsession with ants. Or it's actually just my name shortened, but I like weird obsession with ants because that's what people think sometimes.
My battle tag comes from the phrase, this guy's toast.
This guy's toast.
And it's a play on word, this guy's toast. This guy's toast. It's funny. It's funny.
Hello, toast. I love it. The most important quality to be a great Hearthstone player is definitely resilience because you're going to lose a lot.
Mental perseverance.
I think the most important quality for a great Hearthstone player is flair. You gotta do it in style. You gotta, get the fans. Don't be boring. Just do the crazy things.
Why are we gonna win this tournament? We're just gonna win because we're the best. There's not much else to it.
Definitely some big words for the big-time Buccaneers, and it doesn't seem like it's working out, at least for the first series, but they can still play for the 1-2 score, which is very important because we anticipate a very close standings. You're only going to play 3 matches for each team for a total of 6 today, so it's going to be important for Ali Straza to come up big here for the big-time Buccaneers.
Yeah, this is a round-robin event, and this will be the deck that Ali is playing, which is a pretty cool version of Zoo. This is a wild version of Zoo, of course, which means that it can include cards like Nerubian Egg and Mal'Ganis Voidcaller. So lots of powerful stuff. You may have seen the Zoo decks in Standard, and with things like the Eggs and Power Overwhelming, very powerful, and also the Prince Taladrim that we saw there on the screen, particularly strong when comboing with cards like Nerubian.
I love it. And of course, on the wild side of Jackie Chan, we like to call him Wacky Chan, we'll be bringing a Hunter with a couple of interesting twists here, but for the most part, kind of sticking true to what we know and love. The Deathstalker Rexar, of course, is not something that we used to see a lot in the mid-range Hunter days, so I wanted to see if that card's going to be impactful or not. It could be not, but against a deck that floods you, even just the Battle Cry might be really effective.
Yeah, this can be a very powerful card against control decks as well as against other minion-based decks to clear off their board, which is something that Hunter can often struggle with. So kind of old-school twists on some decks that we're actually seeing quite a bit of these days with the new style flair.
Let's go into game number 3. This will be the final game no matter what happens. Every team will play one deck one time, win or lose. And we'll see who between the battle of teammates on Fate to Karma, Jackie versus Ali, which has been seen many times in October Brawl, actually. Yeah. It seemed like they played a lot then, too. And this is quite the opening hand. Now, here's a question. A lot of people have been talking about the power of Zoo and how it hits the curve, but people are also talking about how Zoo has late game now, thanks to things like Blood Reaver Gul'dan, and against a deck that likes to lower your health total. Is it worth even thinking about keeping Kibler?
I think Gul'dan may just be too slow here, especially against a Hunter deck in Wild. There's so many powerful things they could be doing early. I think that Big Time Buccaneers may need to go for just the early game, and that's exactly what they do, throwing back the Gul'dan.
Okay. I mean, it's just definitely worth asking because you already have the curve, so maybe you could survive. But right off the bat there, that is kind of the exact thing you want to see if you're Big Time Buccaneers fans. Jungle Giants, unfortunately, has the bad news that they have no one-mana minion, and that is very crucial for Hunter to get off on the right leg.
Yeah, Hunter, much like the Paladin we talked about in the last game, really needs to get in the board in order to be able to help control it early on.
Right.
There are some weapons. We saw Glaive Zuka in the hand of Mulligan looking for a one-drop, a very powerful card that Hunter uses in Wild to help interact with the board early on.
And it's compounded, too. Clackling Razor Maul, one of the strongest 2-mana minions in Journey to Ungoro released, but if it has nothing, it's just pretty much a vanilla 3-2, like a Bloodfin Raptor.
Well, Big Time Buccaneers already has some decisions with their one-drops here. Let's see what they're thinking.
If he has it. Right. Or, like, we can pop with Guy, like, trade Flame Imp, and then pop trap with like Voidwalker or something. So like,
I think we still like these two, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's do it. Oh, this is so weird playing placement. If you want this on the right.
On the left.
On the left.
No, this is a card that they drew. They might have a quad one. No.
Yeah. So the way things been going, like they probably have mad scientists, so they play it here. We probably trade pop scientist, unless like you don't want to trade it.
All right, well, it seems like Big Time Buccaneers kind of had a little bit of debate, but in the end, you just want to go for the raw stats, I think, early on against Hunter. The most important thing is to never give Hunter the ability to stack the board. When Hunter is able to be ahead and push damage while taking the trades, they're probably going to win the game from that point on.
And that's a huge draw for Big Time Buccaneers here, finding the Demon Fire, which allows them to continue to develop their own board presence, as well as limit Jungle Giant's board. Buffing up the Voidwalker here, they can kill the Razor Maw, deny the Beast on board, as well as leave themselves with even more stats.
Oh no, Jungle Giant is just drawing more situational cards right now. And Haunted Creeper is definitely a sturdy card, but it's not going to do anything on this board, so Jungle Giant just uses Kill Command to start clearing things off. This is how desperate they are.
Yeah, and
on a one-mana minion.
It is a very rough spot for the Hunter. Obviously, you much prefer to use Kill Command to kill your opponent's large minions, to finish your opponent off, but the Hunter really can't afford to fall further behind. So without a regional play that turn, decides to just fire off the removal, and Big Time Buccaneers is just going to respond by further filling up the board.
Well, almost nothing small that Jungle Giants develops will have a big impact, but perhaps his Pilot Shredder can. That is a card that has continued to fluctuate in power level as more and more sets develop or come into Hearthstone rotation. And so, you know, there's now a slew of opportunities where 2-mana minions can make an impact, or just kind of land dud as a vanilla minion.
Yeah, I don't even know all the things to think about when.
Well, there's still the usual.
There's the Doomsayers.
There's the Doomsayers, the Explosive
Millhouse.
Sheeps. There's the, of course, on the high end, the Millhouse. And there's also like Unstable Ghoul, but right now both Big Time Buccaneers kind of has a big play opportunity with the Void Color.
Look at them right now. Toe's just like eyebrow raising at Jungle Giants. That I love how they're able to see each other across the stage. They're kind of playing off the reactions of one another. Oh yeah. I mean, we saw that last game. Like, oh, Jackie's laughing. We must be dead.
Yeah. Or you know, when Firebat had the lead, though, he was starting to wave already to the Big Time Buccaneers, like, peace. This first game is ours. And I think this play seems relatively straightforward here from the Big Time Buccaneers. I think it's all about how you want to deal with this Pilot Shredder, if you want to deal with the Pilot Shredder.
Yeah, the decision for them. Well, let's hear how they want to deal with them themselves.
There's a possibility like they might just like
do a lot of work. We may have to worry about Sea Giant.
4-3 into the 1-3.
So keep that in the
We
back
have
of your
to
mind.
jump like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You just want to go.
So, what are they thinking of right now?
Should I implosion the Shredder or not?
Right.
Should I Pterodax? Oh, that is scary. Scary.
What is your read on their hand?
They have one kept card left.
Pops out like a 3-2.
Yeah, definitely.
Then, ooh.
It puts them on the back foot. They have to deal with us, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Firebat's looking at us. So they're trying to think if we have they're trying to figure out if we have a demon.
Yeah.
They're trying to, or like which demon, right?
I think if they saw our reaction to it and were like, they might think it's Mal'Ganis.
Play the Creeper?
Yeah.
I like that.
So, now
So treat Shredder into M, quick shot the Flaming.
They definitely want to kill it.
The reads are coming down on both sides. Jungle Giants trying to say, what took Buccaneers so long to play Void Caller, which is so many times the correct 4-mana play? Do they have a demon, perhaps? Or maybe they don't. They're bluffing.
Yeah, we saw Ant even talk about how Firebat's staring at us. He's trying to figure out what we've got.
I love it. I love it. And that's why Void Caller has, to this day, been one of my favorite Warlock cards ever in Hearthstone, because it introduces so much tension on the board, because there is an element of bluffing if you want to play for tempo versus trying to save it for value.
And it also makes the environment we're playing in here, while the players are just across the stage from one another, can just stare them down.
There you go.
Even trying to get a read in the kind of conversations they see the opposing team having.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, they're animated. Clearly some sort of difficult conversation, perhaps.
Ooh, they kill it. And, you know, it's interesting enough, if they went for the opposite sequencing, they would be able to use the kill command on the Despicable Dreadlord. But because they're not sure about what demons, and there's a wide range of them, decide to instead to keep the Pilot Shredder alive. And I think I like this safe play from Jungle Giants.
The Corsair, I believe the patches is still in the deck. There has not yet been a pirate. So I believe they can't quite clear everything with the Dreadlord here. They could decide to potentially pop the Shredder, see what comes out. And then potentially use the Dreadlord plus the other minions in play in order to potentially clear off that additional 2-drop. Though there's also a Beast in play, so despite the fact that both of the kill commands are gone, there's still the threat of Houndmaster coming down.
That's a good point. I'm in favor of clearing everything. Zoo tends to win not necessarily through the big burst, but through the board control. And Despicable Dreadlord is an effect that continues to get value over time. The longer it can stay in play, the higher chance you have to win because of how much damage it generates. Sometimes you see Despicable Dreadlord do 5-6 damage a game, or even more. And that's insane for a 5-mana 4/5.
All right, so Big Time Buccaneers going to just let the Dreadlord ability clear off the Shredder. See what's coming out.
Huh, bit of an interesting twist.
There's a Houndmaster, though, so if they had allowed the Beast to remain up, they could have gotten somewhat punished by that.
Right. Well, Jungle Giants pretty much needs to get onto the board any way possible. And they only have 2 minions this turn. I don't think there's that much validity to using a quick shot setup here. And it does seem like they want to set up for the best Dr. Boom possible. The question becomes, Kibler, does Jungle Giants have time to stabilize? Because it seems like they have some tools to fight for the board here.
Yeah, with just 14 life here, they definitely need to try and play pretty defensively and see what damage they can absorb. There isn't actually that much threat on the side of Big Time Buccaneers right now, though. They do have 4 minions in play, but between them, there's only actually 6 attack.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Like, it's 4 minions, but it's definitely a low average of damage compared to how many minions are on the board. And if I'm Jungle Giants, I'm trying to just make sure to set up for the best Dr. Boom situation possible.
Yeah, and that's what they do. They just go ahead and play the Haunted Creeper, Houndmastered up to defend themselves.
It's just unfortunate that Despicable Dreadlord seems to be the natural predator on spiders.
It's true. And the Dreadlord itself can attack into the spider, clear off the spiders that come out. Ooh, but there's the Power Overwhelming pickup, which means that they have even better options to allow them to clear through this, popping the egg potentially into the spider and then trading off their other minions, allowing Dreadlord to more or less clear off the board.
Yeah, so a Power Overwhelming allows them to clear everything and sum that 4/4 and put them in good position. It seems like they're valuing the smaller tokens as well, because they had an opportunity to try and utilize some of their smaller minions in this position. I really like where their head's at right now. Because they could have Power Overwhelming traded to the 3/4 and then use the 1/1s to trade to the 4/3 and then use the Despicable Dreadlord. But they value their token bodies as at the front half at least.
Yeah. And the Dreadlord clears off those small spiders, then Arabian comes out. Dr. Boom can come down, but there's 10 damage already on the board for Big Time Buccaneers, plus the Bone Mare waiting in hand. So this one looks like it's very difficult for the Jungle Giants to find a way out.
Yeah, and the problem with Quickshot is your hand has to be empty in order to get value. So Jungle Giants going with Dr. Boom, and it is one of the most powerful cards. It's even golden, but even the mightiest of golden Dr. Booms has to bend to the power of Bone Mares and even the top depth Doom Guard. Toast pretending like they're, oh, actually, no, he's searching
Deep
for a
in
reaction.
Yeah.
Searching for a reaction, trying to see how would Jungle Giants react to a top depth Doom Guard, but they are dead, and that's going to be a game for the Big Time Buccaneers, which is important for the overall tiebreaker score here.
Yeah, Jungle Giants will win the match 2-1, but Big Time Buccaneers does pick up that win, which can help them overall in the event.
Love the showmanship, definitely from the Big Time Buccaneers. It seems like Toast was having a lot of fun, but in the end, Jungle Giants takes the series 2-1. And a good thing for me and Admiral as well, because we put our faith in Jungle Giants, and hopefully they don't make us look silly.
Yeah, I mean, Toast did say the most important thing to being a Hearthstone player was flair.
That's right. So the first treasure, which is equivalent to a point, again, for people who are tuning in midway, Jungle Giants has 1 treasure, 1 win. We will also award 1 more treasure to a team with the most game wins at the end of the day. We'll go ahead and toss over to Raven, who's at the tavern with our winning team.
And congratulations, guys. It was a pretty strong victory overall. You did lose the last game, and as the guys are saying over there, every single game counts. But first off, how are you feeling about the wild section of this tournament? Because you look pretty confident in that one.
Well, we have fast decks. It took the Pirate Warrior 1 more turn than I expected to crush their souls, but we'll settle with turn 5, I think.
Yeah, it still seemed quick enough to me. And Firebat, do you think all your wild decks were very aggressive for this one? Is that something that was planned because it's wild and there's access to so many good aggro cards?
Yeah, wild decks, aggro cards are really, really good, but as well, combo decks are really common in wild, and combo decks just get flat out destroyed by aggressive decks. So we were hoping a lot of players would be bringing something like the Freeze Mage that we could really take advantage of that with.
Yeah, and it got the job done. And finally, Jackie, obviously playing against your teammate, Ali Straza. How was that? Was there much sort of banter between you two beforehand? And are you going to rub this in a little bit that your team beat hers?
A little bit, yeah. We were against each other for the October Brawl as well. So it's like, we seem to just be against each other all the time. But no, we get on well, so it's friendly banter.
All friendly fun in the tavern. But congratulations again, guys. And we'll go back in and check with Frodan and Kibler.